Hi, I'm from the League of Women Voters of Wheaton. We serve the communities of Carroll Stream, Warrenville, West Chicago, Wheaton, and Winfield. We are a nonpartisan political organization that encourages the informed and active participation of citizens in government. The League of Women Voters is nonpartisan, as I said, and we neither support nor oppose candidates or political parties for elected office. So we've all heard voting is your choice. So if you don't go out and vote for things, there'll never be any changes. The only way you'll get change is to vote. Do you think that's true? Well, not quite. Another way to get change is to run for local office in your community. Local elections are important every year. And during this pandemic, we've learned that local government has had a huge impact on keeping us safe. Voting for president is the thing that's on everybody's mind, but in fact, while it's true that voting for the highest office is important, the changes that affect our day-to-day lives the most are often closer to our backyards than to Washington, and that's local elections. While the presidential campaigns get most of the media spotlight, the president doesn't have as much of a direct impact on our lives as citizens as you might think. Our local elected officials are the ones who dictate the local laws, policies, and budgets that affect us the most, and these officials are being elected every 2 years with little citizen involvement. Local elections suffer from low voter turnout and lack of candidates for office simply because of the lack of information offered to voters about when local elections occur, what decisions they impact, and just how crucial local offices are in the life of everyday citizens. Hopefully, by providing some basic information on how to run for office, will get you motivated to fill one of the open vacancies on your local board. Now, here's the small print or disclaimer. Please know that the information presented should not be construed as legal advice. Always feel free to reach out to the DuPage election authority with any lingering questions that may exist. Though running for public office can seem daunting, there are various resources that can assist potential candidates, which range from basic checklists to organizations that want to support emerging leaders. Hopefully, some general questions you may have will be answered through this presentation. And once again, I do want to emphasize the information presented should not be considered a legal opinion or the final answer to questions you may have. So these are the things we'll cover: what offices are on the ballot, making the decision to run, stepping up to candidacy, planning and managing the campaign, election day, and after the election. In April 2021, various local governmental bodies are going to have positions up for elections. These elections are nonpartisan, which means they have no political party affiliation. It's a personal decision. Only you can decide if you should run for office. However, our school boards, library boards, city council, park board, all these offices or positions need representation of the community because they make decisions regarding programs and policies. Please know you can make a difference. One of the reasons people run is to help the community. This is the classic reason people run for office. You see your community needs help and you believe you have the desire, skills, ideas to fill that need. Excuse me. Another reason is advocating for causes. There might be a specific cause or policy that's affecting your community, and you feel that you can have a real impact on the issue by running for office. I'm sure you have many questions, and hopefully by the end of this presentation, most will be answered as we cover some basic information. So some questions you might need to ask yourself revolve around personal decisions. What talents can you bring to the board? What ideas do you have? Do you have an open mind and not make decisions until all sides of the issue have been presented? Are you willing to listen to all perspectives? Are you confident to express your opinion, to speak up? Do you have a thick skin since people won't always agree with you? Will you be able to support board decisions, even when a decision conflicts with your personal views? Do you have a friend who would also like to run, or do you think your friends would contribute time and energy to get you elected? Then think about, what is your passion? Is it schools and education? Is it recreational programs? How about library services or city services? Is your position wanting to support and be part of continuing the excellent programs and services already being offered? Or do you have ideas that you would like explored or a direction you would like to be taken? You need to know you can do this. As you're evaluating the costs and benefits of running for office, you also have to consider what is the cost of not running. So congratulations, you've decided to run. Now you need to do your homework. You wouldn't accept a job without a job description, so be sure to know what will be involved when you are elected. Look at the website and attend meetings of the governmental unit. Look at the meeting schedule. How often do they meet? Read minutes of past meetings. Talk to current board members. Ask them questions. How much time is required to prepare for meetings? Over 90,000 members make up the National School Boards Association for state school boards associations and U.S. Territory of the Virgin Islands. School board members are the unsung heroes in communities throughout the country. They establish the vision and goals for the public schools in their district, and they set standards for the performance of schools and superintendents. State school boards associations are nonprofit organizations that represent local school board members who serve on local school boards. Most school board members are elected by people in their community to represent their values, views, and desires for the public schools in their district. As selected leaders in their community, they consistently communicate with the public to keep community members abreast of challenges, ideas, and progress. Board members are more than policymakers and administrators. They are advocates for students and their parents and entrusted to engineer a better future. The school board is the link between the classroom and the community. They decide how and what students are learning by setting policies, curriculums, and budgets for the school district. Voting for school board members affects funding for programs like the arts, music, and sports, the school calendar, and what time school begins and ends. They hire or fire school principals and set guidelines for teachers. Your vote for the school board directly affects the education of students in K through 12 schools. The mayor is the chief executive of the village, town, or city, and is responsible for the efficient running of the city with the assistance of the administrative team. The mayor is the spokesperson for the city when attending events, promoting the city, and establishing goals moving forward. The mayor also serves as the liquor commissioner and has the ability to appoint interested citizens to commissions and boards with the approval of the council. The purpose of the city clerk, generally speaking, is to administer city record keeping, legal publication and notification, elections, and city-regulated licenses under the direction of the mayor. In depth, the city clerk's duties and responsibilities also include planning and preparing the city council meeting agenda materials, preparing motions and roll calls, recording and transcribing council proceedings, and administering oaths of office. The city clerk also prepares ordinances, resolutions, advertisements for bids, and legal notices. So requirements for these offices include that you must be a resident of the city for 1 year prior to election and must be of voting age. You must not be in arrears or in debt to local government, and you have never been convicted in a court of law of malfeasance of office, bribery, or other corrupt crime. Council members have the final vote in creating laws and approving a city budget. They may develop their own initiatives as well as responding to the mayor's proposals, and they approve or reject key department heads. The mayor usually has more power than an individual council member, and a council supermajority may be required to override a mayor's veto of council-approved legislation. Nevertheless, the council has ultimate say on which laws are passed. The board makes policy decisions to maintain and enhance the health, safety, and welfare of citizens and visitors. These decisions include, but are not limited to, matters of annexation, tax impact, budgets, contracts, citizens and others' concerns, acceptance of subdivision improvements, establishment of and variations in housing, subdivision, building, drainage, zoning, and traffic codes, and establishing license fees and other charges. Requirements for these offices include the same as mayor and county clerk, that you must be a resident of the city for 1 year prior to election and must be of voting age. You must not be in arrears or in debt to local government, and you have never been convicted in a court of law of malfeasance of office, bribery, or other corrupt crime. Be aware that the Park District goes beyond the city limits. As a Park District board member, you'll take on the responsibility for helping to set goals, formulate policies, and establish services that will meet the present and future needs of the citizens of your district. Effective board members are respected citizens, well known and active in community affairs, and interested in the total recreational needs of their communities. Serving without compensation, locally elected commissioners represent their fellow citizens and interpret their views. They have the primary responsibility of spending tax monies, fees, and donations designated for park and recreation services. They spend, and spend wisely, millions of dollars every year. Library trustees are powerful advocates for libraries. Through the coordination, hard work, and determination of trustees, new libraries have been built, budgets have been restored and increased, and new respect has been generated for the powerful roles library plays in communities. As part of a trustee board, trustees serve on a volunteer basis, can be elected, and are tasked with the duty of helping to direct the funds and policies of an institution. In general, the Library Board of Trustees has a role in determining the mission of the library, setting policy that governs the library, hiring and evaluating a library director, and overseeing the general management of the library. All this information I'm talking about now can be found on the Illinois Board of Elections website under Candidate Information. You can download the guide from the Illinois State Board of Elections. Please refer to the candidate guide often. Don't be afraid to talk to others who have run to answer specific questions. When you pick up your packet, it will include petitions, a statement of candidacy, a statement of economic interests, a loyalty oath, which is optional to complete, and a Fair Practices Act statement, which is also optional to complete. To run for office, every candidate must collect signatures and file a statement of candidacy. You must also complete and file with the Illinois Secretary of State a statement of economic interests that assures there will be no financial conflict of interest for the position you are seeking. Public officials who make governmental decisions that could affect their personal financial interests must annually disclose certain personal investments, interests in real property, sources of income, gifts, loans, and business positions. Be sure to keep the receipt that shows you have filed your state of economic interest, as you will need to turn in that receipt when you file your petitions and statement of candidacy. The loyalty oath is optional, but close to 80% of all candidates running for statewide office in Illinois turned in the loyalty oath, swearing they don't plan to teach or advocate for the overthrow of the government and that they're not affiliated with any communist groups. The loyalty oath requirement was passed into law in 1951 by the Illinois state legislature during the Red Scare, but the mandatory requirement to sign a loyalty oath was struck down as unconstitutional in 1972 and is now optional. You must complete the top portion of the nominating petition prior to circulating each petition. Your name must appear in the exact same form on petition sheets, statement of candidacy, and loyalty oath. So the general rules for petitions include: a person cannot sign for somebody else. A signer must be a registered voter within the jurisdiction. The signer must fill in his or her name as it appears on his or her voting registration. It's advisable to use a pen, but pencil signatures are allowed. Avoid the ditto marks, but should someone do that, the circulator is allowed to fill in information other than the voter's signature. People can sign as many petitions as there are seats available, and you can sign your own petition. You can have only one circulation per petition sheet, but you can have as many sheets, and they don't have to be completely filled out. The circulator has to have a notary witness for the sheet that they have passed around. So you can go to any banks in town to have something notarized. You can pre-fill in city, county, and state. Any U.S. citizen can circulate your petition. They must personally witness when someone signs. For an example, they can't leave it on a table and just have people sign. And they must complete the bottom of the petition and have it witnessed by a notary. In a pandemic, collecting signatures can be a challenge, but you can always approach your friends, family, and neighbors. You may want to buy pens to give to signers so people don't have to share. You can offer disposable gloves. You can have a drive-by petition drive asking friends and neighbors to sign. You must include the following with your petitions. So please note the statement of candidacy must indicate the candidate's address and the office being sought. This form also includes a statement affirming that the candidate is qualified for the office being sought. This form must be signed by the candidate and notarized. The original statement of economic interest must be filed with the Illinois Secretary of State, which will then issue the receipt of the statement of economic interest for the candidate to file with the Illinois State Board of Elections. The loyalty oath form is optional, as stated before. If a candidate chooses to sign it, he or she must affirm that he or she is not affiliated directly or indirectly with any organization that seeks to overthrow the government of the United States or the state of Illinois. The petitions containing the signatures of qualified electors. Petition signature sheets must be of uniform size, numbered consecutively, and bound together in book form with one edge secured. The header of each page of the petition should contain the same information. Be sure to set goals that will help you meet the deadlines to submit your paperwork. After you have filed your papers, you are now a candidate and can begin thinking about your campaign. So, what strategies are you going to use to reach voters? Are you going to use door hangers, phone calls, social media? When the weather is warmer, chalk sidewalks? lawn signs? Will you participate in forums and candidate guides? Will you answer the questionnaires submitted by local papers? What friends can you recruit to help, either by making social media posts or making phone calls, or maybe even holding pandemic permitting coffees? What ethical guidelines will you follow? Once you have your strategy, you can determine your budget and ask for support if needed. Regarding ethics, be sure to tell the truth, rise above the fray, criticize the argument but not the person, don't make promises you can't keep, and remember why you decided to run in the first place. Most local elections don't have to worry about campaign finance rules, since you do not have to report any campaign contributions until your campaign raises more than $5,000 of donations or expenditures. This does include in-kind donations. Once you have your strategy, you can determine your budget and ask for support if needed. So, come election day, you can relax. The work is done. Candidates and political parties may appoint poll watchers, so you can have poll watchers who will look for the people you have promised to support you, or for the people who have promised to support you. You will need to file paperwork with the DuPage County Board of Elections to obtain poll watcher credentials. So after the election, accept the thanks of your community for running for office. Look forward to the challenges that lie ahead, and know that you are making a difference. The more readily available you are means you are more likely to hear people's concerns and represent them better when it comes to making decisions that directly affect your community. We are hopeful you will set up and run for office. You don't have to have a law degree, have a PhD, or be a political science major. What you have to have is the desire to make a difference and be a part of the decision-making process to improve your community. Be a part of the change you would like to see. And there's also a reference page that you'll get as part of your handout. So I want to thank you for listening, and good luck.